I'm going to start with a confession. So the reason I started in SEO and later on in SEM and PPC is that a few decades ago, back when BlackBerries were still important and people were still using them, I decided to search myself online. No? So I tried to Google myself, and the first result that showed up was a picture, and I thought like, damn, I really don't look good on pictures. Then I took a closer look, and it was someone else, no? Someone else with the same name as I, showing up first. So I didn't know what to do, and I started investigating to, what was that person doing there, because I was searching for myself, and Google should know that, And so I started investigating and investigating. That's how I actually started with SEO, and later on with PPC as well, and I'm still enjoying it, and that's also why I'm here today, sharing some experiences of SEAT with all of you. As you've heard and seen, I have a quite unpronounceable name. I'm not from Spain. I'm actually from Belgium, and I don't know. I'm quite sure many of you haven't ever seen a Belgian guy presenting. No? Raise your hand if you've never seen a Belgian guy presenting on stage. Yeah, quite a few people. No? The reason is actually quite simple because first of all, we're a very small country. We're one of the smallest countries of Europe, so we're basically like 10 people. So if you want to play a football match, we can't even do it in proper condition, and that's why we also always lose when we're playing with two other teams. And the second reason is that when we're not sleeping, we're basically eating chocolate and drinking beer all the time. So making it physically to a stage is quite impossible for us. So that's why today is a very special day for all of you, and also for me, because I'm very happy to be here and sharing some experiences with you. Just one more word of advice. I'm going to be talking with a strange accent the entire presentation. That's another disadvantage of why Belgians never present, actually. So if you don't understand me, you can take your phone and dial 888, and subtitles will automatically display below me. If that doesn't happen, well, then you're in for one hell of a ride, because I'm going to be talking like this all the time. So, ready? Yeah? Great. So I'm going to explain a bit more about the company that I'm working at. We don't sell furniture or armchairs, as some people in the UK sometimes think. We are SEAT. So we sell cars. We sell these cars, amongst others. This is a Seat Leon and a Seat Ateca, so we sell cars. No? So now you're thinking, okay, Belgian guy and a car company, what the hell am I doing here? Or what is he doing here? Basically, the car industry also has started to change, because the way people buy cars, they still buy them in dealerships, but the way they buy cars, the way they investigate, has completely changed. Because earlier, a few years ago, well, quite some decades ago, it was quite different, because you'd basically publish an ad in a magazine, and then people would have a look at that magazine, then they go to a dealership and they buy the car. End of the marketing funnel. Very easy. Everybody's satisfied. Nowadays, everything is very complicated, and everything has changed now, because we're living in a multi-screen, hyper-connected world where we're constantly checking our mobile phone. Searching online, some people taking pictures right now, saying Belgian guy on stage, breaking news. So, we're constantly connected. Internet of Things is catching on us. So we as a car company also had to change our way of thinking. So what we basically saw and what we know is that 94% of people that end up buying a car start their search online. So they start comparing cars and thinking, would this be the best car for me? Would that be the best car for me? So, having a look at reviews and all that stuff. So the way we're selling things and the way people are searching has completely changed. And that's also why a few years ago, we decided to centralize all the search activities here in Barcelona, where we have our headquarters. So we decided to centralize our main markets, which is Euro 5 and then we've got Mexico, Portugal, Ireland, Poland, and Sweden as well. So we centralize them all here for all the SEO and PPC activities. So basically, what we do here is we try to improve the presence of SEAT in all of these markets by using Google and Bing. Well, actually Google, and Bing is also there, just to make it look good. But basically Google, to improve organic rankings and paid traffic. No? So the way or the reason why we did this was because we decided to transform some main challenges we had in advantages. And those challenges or advantages right now is, the first one is economies of scale. By centralizing everything that we're doing, we can now create content centrally and then distribute it easily to all the other countries. So we're not spending a lot of money on creating content than by doing it locally. We do have local contacts that help us with keywords, with link building and all that stuff. But being able to create it centrally and then distribute it has enormous economies of scale. Also a strategic approach, because if we see that something is working in one country, we can then easily adapt it to other countries. So that's also an enormous strategic advantage. And communication as well, because instead of having to communicate with perhaps 10 different SEO agencies or 20, if the country has both an SEO and an SEM agency, instead of having to talk to all of them and being constantly talking about to different people, what we decided was now with the centralized approach, we have 2 agencies, one for SEO and one for PPC. People of that agency in our local markets as well that help us with translations, with link building and all that stuff. But we're basically just working with 2 agencies in all of these markets. So that's an enormous advantage. Before continuing with the presentation, I just want to make something clear about the terminology that I'm going to be using in the next slides, because basically, I don't know if you noticed this as well, but explaining digital marketing to friends and to colleagues is quite complicated, no? Have you ever tried explaining what you're doing in your job to your parents or to your grandparents? I tried to do it. I was speaking. My parents asked me, what is it exactly that you do in the digital marketing? So I tried explaining. I was explaining for half an hour. SEO, SEM, PPC, I don't know what. And then after half an hour, they're like, "So you work in PR, right?" And it was like, okay. My grandparents actually think I'm a web programmer, so I'm creating websites for SEAT. So as long as it makes them happy, I just leave it at that. But also at work, has it happened to you as well that you're trying to explain what you're doing and people don't seem to understand? Has it happened to you? Yeah, some people as well. No? It's our fault actually as well, no? Because throughout the years we've been using acronyms, abbreviations, and different terminology to make us sound like more interesting. No? So if you go to a company meeting and they're like, "Oh, the guy from digital marketing, explain a bit what's happening." So you're like, okay, the new CTA that we created for the PPC campaign increased the ROI. So people are like, "What?" And they're thinking like, I didn't understand what you were talking about, but you used a lot of difficult sounding words, so it must make sense what you're saying. No? So that was what was happening before, but now people are starting to catch up on us. No? So now in meetings, when we say or use these words and terminology, people are like, "But shouldn't it be decreasing if you change the CTA?" And so we can now do things. We can either change and invent new words, new terminology, because the rest of the people are catching up on us, and we need to start using new words. Or we could do or follow another strategy that we've used in SEAT, which is try to standardize more or less the different terminologies we're using internally. So in SEAT, what we've been doing is we've been referring to everything that has to do with organic search as SEO, and everything that has to do with paid search, with PPC, as SEM. So I know some people are getting very nervous right now, because you're right, SEM, search engine marketing, is like this central umbrella concept, which englobes both SEO and SEA, so search engine advertising, and PPC is a part of search engine advertising. So actually the correct way would be to use SEO and PPC, but we just wanted to create more confusion. No, actually the reason why we decided to do it was that most countries were using SEM to refer to paid traffic and SEO to everything that's related to organic. So that's also why in the rest of this presentation I'm going to talk about SEM and SEO, but we all know that grammatically it's not the correct way to explain it. But yeah.